Chapter 2, Fruits and Broomsticks. My favorite analogy for singleness involves comparing fruits to broomsticks. I'll explain. When we're single, most of us feel incomplete, like we're lacking something. The same way a broomstick that's separated from the bunch is useless to sweep. We feel like we're lacking something or someone, and until we're joined together with that person, there's only so much we can do on our own. One day, I decided to look up the word single in the dictionary. As expected, it was linked to all the negative feelings of loneliness, being separated and isolated, with the weight of lack hanging over it. Single and lonely. Single and lacking a partner. Single and incomplete. I knew that couldn't be right. I eventually found a synonym that painted a more accurate picture, the word whole. Whole meaning a thing that is complete all by itself. Where a single broomstick is isolated, lonely, and ineffective, incomplete, and separated, a single fruit is whole. It is complete in itself. A single fruit has all the juice and nutrients it needs. A single fruit has enough seeds to create a forest. It carries in itself everything it needs to multiply. It is whole. And so the first thing to understand about whole, you are not lacking anything. Everything you need is inside you. You do not need another person to be complete. You do not need another person to be effective. And you do not need another person to make you feel valuable. You do not need another person to validate you and make you feel wanted, loved, and special. You are all that, all by yourself. Perfect and complete, lacking nothing. James 1 verse 4. But I know you don't really believe that. Not deep down in your heart when you're alone with your thoughts and feelings. You know how to say the words, how to share the quote online, how to square your shoulders and dress the part. But you still think there's something missing. Like me, every time you think of your singleness, you wonder if it's possible that there's something wrong with you. Maybe it's the way you dress. Maybe your job doesn't allow you to socialize. Maybe you need to change your hairstyle. You've heard that guys like girls who think and behave a certain way, and you wonder, maybe you just don't have it. You're not sure if it's because you have a character flaw or if it's just how you were born. And sometimes you think it's just how life is, doing the best you can, day by day, but never truly feeling fulfilled. Of course, you're intelligent enough to understand that relationships aren't everything. You know that there's more to life. You didn't need a man to achieve any of the amazing things you've been able to achieve, but it would be nice to find someone to share life with. You know that marriage isn't everything, but you hope it can be something special. Years ago, one of my friends said to me, "Do you think anyone is really happy? What if what you think is happy is different from what they think is happy?" I argued back. The fact that people don't know they're unhappy or don't say they're unhappy doesn't mean they're happy. Who are you to judge who is happy or not? What if they don't want more from life? What if they've never known anything else and how they are is enough for them? Everyone wants to be treated well, I insisted. But what if your standards are different from theirs? The fact that they're okay living their lives like that doesn't mean they're happy with it. But how do you know they're not? Who are you to impose your standards on them? Of course, we were arguing about different things, even though it sounded the same. It's like apples and oranges. They're both fruits and they're both nutritious, but they are not the same. You have to peel the skin of an orange to get to the juice, but you can eat an apple as it is. I was talking about the universal need to be valued, affirmed, and loved. She was talking about how we measure value, affirmation, and love. We often mix the two up. It's true that people have different needs, different perspectives, and different expectations from life and from love. One person thinks love is being able to sit in companionable silence, but the other person thinks that being able to talk for hours is the greatest measure of love. It would be wrong to expect love to look one certain way. Most of our parents and grandparents did not go on candlelit dinners, and perhaps the most romantic thing they ever said to each other was, "Have you eaten?" But that doesn't mean they didn't love each other deeply. The fact that love has different expressions is one thing, and the fact that everyone needs love is another. I believe that everyone needs love in order to feel fulfilled. We search for it in our jobs, in our faith, in our community service, in our romantic relationships, in our children, in our friends, everywhere. We don't even know if it exists, but we instinctively hope for it. Isn't that the biggest mystery of life? And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. But if this is true, what is love? I was dating a guy once. Nice guy, really sweet, etc. One day, out of the blues, he said he loved me. Ha! We were just hanging out as usual. Nothing special had happened. So what? I liked him too. Maybe even a lot. Maybe I had even told him that he was the best boyfriend ever. It's possible that I had told him I cared about him and was really happy with him. It's likely that I enjoyed spending time with him too, that my face lit up every time his name popped up on my phone, that I ran to hug him whenever we hadn't hung out in a few days as if he was returning from the battlefront or something. And so, is it just that little affection that warranted this declaration? I mean, love? I sat there, I didn't know what to say. I think I hugged him and made a weird sound, something like, "Oh." I mean, I didn't want to be rude and say thank you. What was a girl to do? The moment was ruined. There was no salvaging this mess. He dropped me at home. I panicked. Was he going to break up with me because of this? See, this was exactly why we didn't need to get into all this love stuff. Why ruin a perfectly happy relationship with such a wrecking ball of an announcement? Who asked you, sir? Why couldn't you keep it to yourself? I didn't want to lose him, and I didn't want to hurt him, and I could not say I loved him back. I had to find a way to do something about this situation. But we have talked about this, I said to myself as I paced in my room. And we had. I had let him know very clearly that I believed that saying the L word was essentially a marriage proposal. We were quite young, so I'd said that to scare him a bit, make him really take his time and watch his words around me. Just because we're lovey-dovey didn't mean we're in love or anything like that. I didn't allow myself to consider that he might have been fully aware of what he was saying. Impossible, we're not there yet, I convinced myself. But I still didn't know what to do to contain this love leak. What is love, Seth? I asked angrily. I didn't know, but I was a Destiny's Child fan and I remembered that Michelle had quoted a Bible verse in one of their outros, and the verse talked about love, so I looked it up. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love takes no pleasure in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. Well, this was a problem. My guy was patient and kind. He wasn't proud or rude or selfish. What was all this? Then he called me, disappointed by my lack of response. I argued, listen, it's not that I don't care about you. It's just that I think that word is really strong. What does it even mean? Is it like a strong like you feel? Maybe not quite love? You can't really tell me what I feel, he started. And of course, he was right. And angry. So I said, wait. I went to look up love, 1 Corinthians, and I realized you're all these things to me. I really care about you. I may even feel it back. I just can't say it. Is that okay? Can you understand? Wow, he said, speechless. 1 Corinthians, huh? I didn't realize what I had just admitted to, but he did. As I looked back at this experience, I see one glaring signpost that points to fear. I was so afraid. I didn't know I was. I was afraid that love was an illusion, that it didn't last, that it didn't mean anything. I was afraid that someone could say they loved you today and hurt you tomorrow. I was afraid that love meant that I would want to be with one person for the rest of my life, and that he would have the license to hurt me for the rest of my life, and I would be stuck there, unable and perhaps even unwilling to leave because I loved him so much. If you've ever been in a relationship where you gave and gave and gave, but it was never enough for the person, it's because you were pouring your love into someone who didn't believe they were worthy of love. So they either couldn't receive your love or they couldn't reciprocate it. These dysfunctional situations come up a lot in relationships when we are not confident in our worth. Here are a few dysfunctional love languages to look out for. Scenario 1, the needy lover. This person needs you all the time. Why do you like me? Why haven't you called me? Where are you? I thought we were going to hang out. Please don't leave me. Tell me again why you like me. At first, it feels nice to be needed and wanted so much, but in the end, you feel drained. It's never enough. You can do everything for them and they'll still feel like you don't love them enough. The love you're pouring into them is draining out through them like water in a sieve. Scenario 2, the brick wall. This person barely communicates, doesn't want to address issues, deflects when you try to get deep. They may be very physically expressive, intensely sexual, that sort of thing, but it's hard to get them to express their feelings because they don't allow themselves to acknowledge that they have any. Scenario 3, the overlover. This person does everything and more. They give their life for the one they love, even when it's clear that it's not reciprocated. Just give me a chance. I can love you enough to prove myself to you. I know you're not ready to commit, but I will love you so much that you will realize you want to be with me. They take on every fault, dismiss every mistake, and apologize for the other person's wrongdoing because it is important for them to be the most loving and the most forgiving. They give love with the hopes that it will prove that they are worthy to receive love. Scenario 4, the vampire. This person drinks up all the love they get and doesn't feel the need to reciprocate. They are excellent at receiving love and they know how to extract it when they want it. They are confident about their ability to get love and pride themselves on it, but they don't feel the need to give love. The principle of love in the Bible depicts the idea of being filled up until we overflow so that we have enough to give without emptying ourselves. Needy lovers don't have the capacity to hold on to love. They are more like baskets than buckets. Brick walls are like buckets turned upside down. They cannot receive. Love bounces off them. Overlovers are constantly draining themselves, pouring themselves out in the hopes that they will be able to convince someone else to pour back into them. Vampires take what they need and stop there. They don't need any overflow because their focus is on themselves. This is a good place to pause and assess. Which one are you? Thanks so much for listening to the first 2 chapters of How to Be Single. It is available on Amazon all over the world in physical copy and in Kindle format. It is also available on Okada Books and it is available here in Nigeria from Roving Heights. It is 5,500 naira only and you can get it anywhere in the country and anywhere in the world.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and most importantly, share. And oh, wait. Also, don't forget to turn on post notification. Bye!